also know that just because you choose a path doesn't mean that has to be your thing forevermore. Amen. You can always change. You can always pivot. But when you're starting out and you pick something, you're starting to build skills, you're starting to build confidence, you're starting to learn how to attract clients. All of those things are going to serve you no matter which direction you go in the future. So like one of my clients showed up, she's like, oh, I want to serve people who.
Welcome to 7 to 8, our special series on 7 to 8 figure entrepreneurs. In this special series, I interview $1 million, some $10 million, and even some $1 million business owners who uncovered their twists and turns in their entrepreneurial adventure in order to help you to avoid the potholes and stick to the fast track. Welcome now to Center Stage, our next special guest. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec, and I am super glad that you're here with us today because I am here with my most amazing guest, Joy. Joy, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Michelle. I'm excited for this conversation.
Awesome. So give us a highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Yes, thanks for asking. My business is called Simplify to Multiply. So I help women to simplify their business. It's so important so they can multiply their results. And I have a whole story behind that because things were not simple. Go back 7 years.
Excellent. So let's go back.
Yeah.
How did you get into simplifying as a thing?
Yeah, well, it goes back to honestly the origin of my business. I'm a former teacher and was a teacher for 4 years, math teacher. Thought I'd always do that. Surprise, surprise, I'm pregnant with twins. Yay, how exciting. Except they were born extremely premature and my daughter suffered brain damage as a result.
Aww.
A whole life change. Like all of a sudden, like I'm stay-at-home mom, we're in the emergency room, we're having brain surgeries, like 10 years of a lot of intensity.
Wow.
Now, my daughter, of course, is my coach and has been over these years and had led me through a whole really a personal journey, an inner journey when you go through some rather traumatic things and things unexpected and all of that. So about 10 years in, suddenly I'm stay-at-home mom for 10 years, going to doctor's appointments and surgeries. Like there was no way I could do anything else. And about 10 years in, she started to normalize and stabilize, and her twin brother was doing pretty well. And I learned about this whole world called coaching. Like I really needed a purpose for myself. Like I can't wear a mom hat my whole life. What does my professional life look like? So I learned about this world called coaching. Oh, fabulous. It's 2010. It's a great time to come into this world. Except I made it so complicated and I tried to do all the things and I took every course and program and followed every guru, and 5 years went by. And I never made more than 20K in a year. And that was getting really frustrating, as you can imagine, right? When you're working really hard and you have this passion and you really start to feel like, okay, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I just, what's so far off? And I realized, well, first of all, I was like, I have to start making money or I have to go get a job. It was like, that's all there was to it. Our medical bills had been piling up from my daughter. We had a lot of, debt that had been piling up. And I really needed to make money. There was things I wanted for my family. And, my husband made a great salary, but a family of 5, I had another child, even 6 figures just doesn't get by when you have kids with extra needs. Anyway, so I kind of had to have I call the pillow moment. This moment where I'm like, I went to the job interview first. Oh, no, I just can't. I can't do this. Like, it's a marketing job. I'm sure I could have done great at it. 50K a year. Great. Oh, so I had this moment that I threw a pillow against the wall, said a few expletives. My husband was like, Joy doesn't swear very often. And I said, I am going to figure this out. And I went in my office and I wrote down 3 things on a piece of paper, like somehow intuitively. And I think it was part of my math teacher brain kicked in, like keep it simple, make it simpler. So I went in and I wrote down three things on that piece of paper. I'm like, I am just going to focus on this. I'm going to scrap everything else. And then that next year, that was the end of 2016, I made my first 6 figures, $104,000 in a year.
Woohoo!
ooh,
Nice.
I'm onto something here.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it. I was working less. I knew exactly what to focus on each day. I scrapped all the complicated stuff and all the funnels, launches, memberships, all the things I was trying to build. So what's cool about that? And I was like, okay, I'm onto something. And I started like testing it. Can I take this further? Can this take me to multiple six figures? Ding, ding, ding. The next year, 254. Like, wow, okay, I'm onto something. Suddenly I'm having to bring in a team, of course, which flowed beautifully into the model that I had. And I really never had a seven-figure goal. I was just like, I want to make more money for our family, pay off my debt, and be able to move to the beach in Florida, which was where we live now. So we've been able to make all that real, but it really started with that decision to like focus and simplify. So I'm really excited we're having this conversation because I'm so passionate about helping people really see a simpler path forward.
Nice. I love it. Well, and I particularly like that it's there is I guess, a simplicity and an ease of life that even if you do have the funnels and you do have the things, if you do them at the right stage in business, which is
Yes,
paramount,
exactly. You're
not
exactly
at the
right.
end, and only if you have designed a certain business that you want. So I have never been an advocate that tech is for everyone.
Yes.
Certainly not.
Yes.
You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool anybody on that one. Is
Love it.
is so important to be able to simplify the business, because I think once you get in the habit of simplifying your business, you create this way of constantly looking at your business, even though you might be doing your goal setting every year, every quarter, every whatever, but then looking at it, okay, how do we simplify this and make it as easy as possible to be able to achieve that? And that's usually the right course of action. And
Exactly.
at some point in time, you go, hey, I'm special kind of crazy. I want to have 50 employees. I want to have all this complexity. I want to have these things. Right. Then you get to look at
You have
extension.
the capacity to sustain more,
Right.
like, yeah, I do have technology in my business. I hardly touch it. I have a team that does that, right? The tracking and the links, and I don't know how to find it. I need a team member for that. So, you really can build those layers in, but now you're not the solopreneur doing all the things. So build that strong foundation. You can build up to multi six figures really with just two offers. So I built to six figures with just one, and then I diversified and added on a second, next step offer the next year. So again, this sounds kind of cheesy, but to your point, like looking through everything through the lens of simplicity, I call it putting on your simplify glasses. Like you're imagining like, okay, wait, and really coming at it from a standpoint of the belief. It's a belief you choose. There's always a simpler way. So when you inform your brain of that, your brain goes searching for that answer. What's the simpler way, right? When you have like this multi-step project, or you're thinking about a launch, or you're thinking about an initiative, like, there's always a simpler way. Brain, go find that for me, right? When you put on those glasses, oh, wait, or ideas or opportunities or, a new way of something, or you talk to a colleague and like, oh, wait a second, this can be simpler. So I really believe that if we have this stance for simplicity, and I think we all want that because it just sort of makes us breathe a sigh of relief. I'm like, okay, calm, more calm, not more complexity. One of my colleagues who does team building, she helps people build their teams. She said, you're just going to multiply your chaos, right? If you don't start with
exactly. Good. Best comment ever. Absolutely.
Right? Wasn't that so smart of her?
Yeah.
So once you're building, so I love what you said about you can add things in later on. And I think a lot of people are spending time on things in their business that do not make sense for the stage of business that they're in. And that's what I didn't know is just like unconscious, incompetent at the time of being new in the world of like, wait, what's to make money now? What do I need? Well, those three things. And again, these are still my highest focus, although obviously there's more in running my team and my, my programs and growing my audience and all of that. But the three things were pricing. I was nothing under 3K. Like making that decision that I was just going to go with that high ticket and not have a $500 thing and a $97 thing and a 30, it didn't make sense with my audience size. It didn't make sense for me for the scaling that I needed to make quickly. So focusing just on that 3K offer. And then, and that was it. Like that was the only way you could work with me. Of course, it was one-to-one at the time. By the next year, I had 25 one-to-one clients at once. That's not scalable. So that's when you add in, a secondary offering, a hybrid offer.
When necessity becomes the mother of all invention.
Exactly. Like and I think the thing is, you don't have to be a coach for this to be true, but really serve enough clients that you become competent in really knowing, like, this is my way of helping clients get results, or this is my way. Like, you start to find, you serve enough people, you work with enough people, you start to find, if you're paying attention, you start to find it in there. And it was actually a coach of mine who I had actually made the group program name Simplify to Multiply, which actually my husband thought of the name of all things, because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to help him keep it simple, but I wasn't really all about that. And my coach at the time said, Joy, that is you. That is your brand. That's how you do. That is your process. I'm like, oh, let's go get the registered trademark right now. So you just sort of learn, like, what is my unique way of helping clients get results? So I do encourage, my clients who are growing to six figures, focus on that 3K thing, or whatever that price point is for you, that, it feels like you're honoring yourself and you're delivering great value. Two, show up consistently on point with your message, in other words, not trying to be everything to everyone. So I see a lot of people, random content, or trying to be an expert at everything, or be free entertainment on social media, or whatever the case may be. Really speaking to your yes client. And that's my term for ideal client avatar, really knowing who is my yes client, like that person who really needs to hire me specifically.
So let's talk about them for a second, because I think there's an important step just before that, like right before they get clients and they're going, okay, what are my interests? I have 10 different interests and I have 10 different specialties and I could serve everybody. I've heard that so many times. It's somebody's got to be able to contain that down into a 3-step process about narrowing this down. And I'm thinking it's going to be you. So being able to take that and go, okay, what is the one thing I can offer the world? And then get clients. So let's back up to before they even have clients. How do they know in their diverse spectrum of awesomeness? Let's assume that they're kind of the Renaissance person that's had careers and they've done all sorts of things and they could do all of them. How do they know what to do next?
That's a great question. And this is so good for those who are, multi-passionate and multi-skilled. And like you said, they've had a diversity of roles that they've played over the years. So my advice is pick something and start. So what a lot of times people do is they hold back because they're waiting for the clarity bomb. Clarity, boom. Okay, now I know, right?
I want a clarity bomb. I want it so bad.
Right. And it's really hard to get clarity when you're not in motion. So what happens is you take an action and you get feedback from that action. This worked, this didn't work. This worked, this worked. I liked this, didn't like this. Serve a few clients, like that part of it, didn't like that part of it. So then you can fine tune and adjust because you've got clarity from that movement you made, right? And so it's much easier when you're in flow and in motion to keep motion and flow going. And also know that just because you choose a path doesn't mean that has to be your thing forevermore. Amen. You can always change. You can always pivot. But when you're starting out and you pick something, you're starting to build skills, you're starting to build confidence, you're starting to learn how to attract clients. All of those things are going to serve you no matter which direction you go in the future. So like one of my clients showed up, it's like, oh, I want to serve people who want to move from corporate to starting a business. She's serving them and she's doing like the mindset side of things. Kind of liked it, kind of didn't, but it was like, that's what she started with because that's what she knew. Really, because she had done the same thing. And then over time, like she's serving some clients, she's getting some clarity. People that come to me seem to be in STEM careers. That's interesting. Must be my personality. Oh yeah, my background was in STEM. So she started niching then into helping people in STEM careers start a business. And she stopped talking so much about the mindset side of things, which they didn't think they needed. They just wanted strategy. They just wanted to know like what type of business to start. So she started leading with something different and started speaking to more niched yes client avatar. And she is loving it. But it started because 2 years ago, she said, I'm a mindset coach for people that want to leave corporate and start a business. So
Right.
just take that step.
Right. Well, and I find too that a lot of people that are in that kind of predicament stage, they're very much afraid of being honed in on one thing. And my comment usually is no matter what you pick, it's not going to stay that way for 6 months.
Exactly.
Like
You're going
just
to
do it for
evolve
3 months and you're going to get enough data
totally.
back that you're going to know where to shift. And it's not going to be the
Exactly.
same as you think it is anyway. So run.
Mhm. Exactly. And you're going to, if you're a growth oriented person, you're going to evolve and change, you're going to get a little bored. So you're going to have to expand or you'll pivot a little bit. So just know that that's really normal. And again, that's a good reminder to keep the simple glasses on, right? As you make changes and, knowing that it's when there's less dependencies and there's less moving pieces, it's much easier to make a change and a shift too. It's much easier to navigate that next step when you don't have lots of complexity in place.
Nice. So when they find something, they go, okay, this is my flag. I'm going to plant it in the sand.
Yep.
And then how long do they keep that planted in the sand before they should really look at, this isn't working? Or what should they do in order to be able to test that?
Sure. Well, I certainly could have said after 5 years of never making more than 20K of like, screw it, forget it. This isn't working. But I think underneath of it, I still was sort of half-assing it because I was afraid. So sometimes like there's your true genius is hiding under there, or your true quantum leap is about to happen. And you're like 2 steps from it, like making, like really saying like, I'm going to figure this out. And it may not unfold the way you expect it to, and you may actually make a pivot or a change. But I think going beyond like what's in front of me and say, what is the vision I want to create? Not necessarily having to know exactly how or what it's going to look like. What is it, the vision I want to create, and really attaching to that. Like I said earlier, for me, it was like, I want my kids to be able to go to private school. One needs it for this reason, one needs it for this reason. My other daughter was in a special ed school, throughout her career. My kids are all in their 20s now. Can't believe it. We've made it. Yay.
Yay.
But, just being able to support them with what they needed and go on great vacations. And we did move to the beach and have a property on the beach. And, just creating that lifestyle. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't have a goal of making 7 figures or know how I would get there, but setting the vision and then looking through the simple glasses, you have the next clarity and you take an action, the next level of clarity and you take an action. So it really can unfold much easier if we allow it. We like to make things complicated though, and I'm living proof of that in my first couple of years.
I love it. So who would you say you serve and support now, or who's your ideal client that's coming to you?
I work with women who are 100% online, coaches, consultants, service-based experts, and they already have a 2 or 3K offer or want to create one. They're ready to up-level their pricing and really have that signature package and scale up to 6 figures. And so it's the offer, like really dialing that in and really owning the value you bring to your yes client, then creating that messaging, that out-facing copy that really represents your expertise and your differentiators, and then having a simple aligned sales process. So you're not like booking discovery calls with everybody under the sun or on 60-minute calls, like really streamlining your system for enrolling clients is who I serve and how I help them. And the truth is, like, past 6 figures and into multi 6 figures, which I serve those women as well in different programs. It's really not like the foundation, the core is really not that much different, right? You multiply what's working, you're multiplying what you love, pieces of what you won't love. So it goes away, right? But it's kind of like you can decide to build a 2-story high maintenance condo building or you can build this beautiful skyscraper, right? So like you take what you love and what's beautiful and streamlined and easy to maintain and just build up on that rather than going vertical, rather than going horizontal. Sorry, I said it backwards. Instead of going horizontal, you can go vertical with what you love and what's working.
Nice. Well, and I find too that it really is. I mean, I suppose you could. I haven't seen it yet that I recall. Is somebody going from 5 figures to 1 million without having one kind of core signature message at least? So even in the retail bricks and mortar world, they still have to have that one core message that resonates with people in order to be able to go over that $1 million threshold. And obviously in retail, it's not necessarily about the revenue at that point. It can be kind of the profit side of things won't grow until that one message is honed in on. Has that been your experience? And what do you think is the hardest part for people to be able to just go, okay, that thing, we're not doing that for a little bit?
Yeah. So you mean like a program or an idea or something like that when they decide to put it to the side?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think, for them, like you said, I love what you said about the core message. And, that core message it's a moving target sometimes, in the beginning, it really is. A matter of fact, one of my clients who's made more than 200K in a year, she's like going into this next level of like, okay, what does this next iteration of my business look like? And we're creating an offer. And so her core message has been like, and we just landed the plane today. Like, here it is. And sometimes you test it in real time with your audience. You look at feedback that you're getting, responses that you're getting, talk with the clients that you have, so, if there's something that needs to go, and she actually did let go of the $97 membership that she had because she was like, that is way too much work. I'm getting chargebacks for $97 and, just too much work for too little profit. It was like, I kind of knew she was going to need to do that, but she needed to see it in real time of like, I'm going to start it. I'm going to run it after 3 months. Bye. Going back to this higher ticket focus, but she's evolved and changed over the years, right? So her core message has not evolved, hugely, but it's fine. She's fine-tuned it, as she's grown and changed, which is kind of neat to see. What it looks like in my world, interestingly enough, like my core program is called the Quantum Leap program. And that's generally the one I talk about in my outward facing messaging. By the way, that was number 3 in my list of 3 things, was invite people to work with me, actually talk about my package and how I help people overtly, clearly, give direct, invitations in my emails and posts. That made a huge difference. Anyway, I have people, this is for building to your first 6-figure year, the core foundations, but I have people who are beyond 6 figures and multiple 6 figures reaching out about the Quantum Leap program. What does that tell me? My core message is resonating with people at every level of business. So I'm getting that feedback. So you pay attention to feedback and the types of leads you're getting and what the leads are saying when they reach out. And that can give you feedback as well in real time. It's like, what is my core message? What are they saying back to me that they're picking up that you might be an unconscious competent at your core message or not be able to actually articulate it. But if you talk to enough people and work with enough people, it's there.
Well, and it's usually the kind of, as somebody, I find as somebody's fumbling along those conversations, that somebody will repeat back and go, oh, this, and you go, oh yeah, that. And then the next time you go, that.
You say it,
oh,
exactly.
That. Okay.
It
And then eventually
thing.
It becomes a saying.
Exactly.
Nice. I love it. So what would you say is your favorite part of having built $1 million business?
My favorite part is well, I'll say my clients first. Definitely my clients. Like, they're just a delight to work with. I'm so grateful that I've just had the best clients who just are doing big things in the world and just are all in on their vision. I'm so thankful for that. And I would say secondary is my team. My team, again, wearing the CEO hat is a different thing when you've been teacher identity and stay-at-home mom identity and okay, I'm a coach, but being the CEO and having a team and leading a team, it's a new skill to learn. But I've been really blessed with just like the right people coming at the right time for the team, exactly the people I needed. And they feel like a family. I've built a family. My
Oh,
kids
that's awesome.
are grown. My kids are grown, you know, 2 of 3 of them are out of the nest now, but it's a beautiful thing as well. Like we're all in the vision together. So it amplifies and it expands when, you know, you can have that opportunity to move beyond solopreneur or solopreneur with a VA to actually have a team of people that are all in on your vision as well. So that's been just made it 10 times more fun. Even, and it
Nice.
was fun already.
I love that. So would you say that there's kind of in the areas of simplicity, is there an area to focus when it comes to building $1 million business, like specifically as goals? So I'm assuming somebody who's kind of in that maybe 200, 500 range, and they're wanting to go, hey, I can do this. I know I got something here. Is
Yeah.
it HR? Is it the vision? Is it the technology? Is it like the sales, the clients, the messaging? Out of all those things, how do I
Yeah.
know what that thing is that I should be simplifying?
Yeah. So there's a lot of areas that could possibly need to be simplified, and it depends on how you got to 200K. You know, for instance, I work with a client who has had 7 figures top line in a year, but her team and her programs were so complicated and her profit margin was so low. You know, like, okay, this is a multi-step process where we have to go here and then we have to go here and then we have to go here. For a lot of people, I find like a lot of the coaches, let's say past the 200K mark, or the people who are serving people in transformational types of roles, it's not really the thing you think it will be. It's almost about them, like the structural things, although that's important. Often it's about like they can move forward with more simplicity when they get to be what I call the maverick. Like once you get past that 200K mark, you know, like, wow, okay, I know how to make money and you've got extra money and, you know, it's like feels like a real thing. I think it's a good time to actually go internal and say, what do I want and what do I stand for? I know that's probably not what you expected me to say, like
It
as
is not
far
what I
as
expected, but I loved it because, of course, now you're
structurally.
talking my language. Love Mavericks.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, like there are some best practices and principles and things that I teach that are quote unquote strategies that, yes, can get you to multiple 6 figures and they're good to follow. But then you need to back off a little bit. Say, okay, now how do I do me on my way to 7 figures? And that's where the magic is at, is giving yourself permission. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm a conscious competent now, but I also get to like let go of shoulds, do it my way. And that's really going to be your path for multiplication, because now your business is like a natural extension of you. So you're going to love it. And it's not going to feel like a job, because some people build up to that multiple 6-figure level and they've just created another job, another 60-hour-a-week job for themselves, or there's lots of management or lots of complexity and they don't enjoy it anymore. I know people who have shut down 7-figure businesses, multi 6-figure businesses, because I'm like, I don't love this anymore. I liked it better when I was, you know, a small fish. So I think staying connected to who you are and what you stand for is really important in this next step. And that's kind of like the inward simplicity.
Nice. I love it. So can you give us an example of a Cinderella story of one of your clients?
Yes. So one of my clients, she's in France, actually. I have clients all over the world. And she had had like a 50K year before. That was like the highest she's had before. And one of the challenges is that she was trying to be everything to everybody. Like she had so many skills, and she actually fell under the umbrella of marketing coach, of like helping people with their own marketing. And guess what? She struggled with her own, right? So she was really good at helping everybody else. And like, I can help you with this, and I can help you with this, and I can help you with this. So she made money, but she was stretched really thin. And so when she came to work with me, what we did was we took the best of things, what she loved doing the most, what she could do the most quickly, and was really in her true zone of genius. And we created an offer around that. Like, this is your offer. You're not going to, you know, instead of doing all these one-offs for everybody, like this is your core offer, and speak to the person who needs this in your content. In 6 weeks, she brought in 5K clients. Once she
Yay!
just right away went to that like room here I am, here's my expertise. She owned it, and she was talking about it like in her emails, in her posts, just that. So before it was kind of hit or miss, like she'd give tools and tips and all of this. Now she's starting to give deeper insights and like who she serves and why they're struggling with their marketing and how she helps them transform their marketing. So she really came in as that expert. I call it like, oh, I have to hire her, right? Like I need her in my corner. So I was so excited for her. And she, like me, has a child with a diagnosis. And actually she's a single mom. So like for her, that was a huge win. And she started letting go of all these one-off things that she had. She was like, okay, I have the confidence. I can scale and not be everything to everybody and really just focus on this offer. So I was so happy
Yay.
for
Love
her.
it. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm happy
Yeah.
for her too. So
Yes.
what might one of our listeners be stumbling? What are the stumbling blocks that they might be having right now thinking, oh my God, Joy, I need you so badly?
Hmm. So, a lot of times I think, when you're more established and more advanced, you feel like, oh, I've heard it all. I've done it all. I know who my yes client is. I know who my deal client is. I already put content out there.
If I do
So I
one
think,
more form on avatars, I'm
if
going to
I do
kill
one more
somebody.
thing, I get it. Like you've done so many different so many different things. And as much as people sometimes don't want to hear it, going inward to the basics again
Mhm.
really can give you clarity on your future vision. So that's what I really help people do, whether it's building to your first 6-figure year or scaling well beyond that. Like you have to go within you, within your core message, and let it blossom from there. So I think it's often like, I've done that. I know that. I get it. I've been around in the online industry, but being open, to like, maybe there's something I can't see, that we all have blind spots. I still hire my own coaches and mentors, and they see things that I can't see. They're like, oh, makes me so mad too. They see an opportunity or in something that I didn't see. And when you're highly capable, competent, you want to be able to figure it all out on your own. But sometimes when you hit that plateau or something feels out of alignment, it's a good opportunity to look within and have that simple focus at the core of your business. So you can multiply up from what you love and what's working and what you want to the future of your business to look like.
Nice. So if you're the kind of person listening to this and you're thinking, I'm smart enough, I can figure this out, you are the exact person that needs to call Joy.
1-800
We
JOY.
know you're smart enough and you're complicating it. We know you are.
It's a thing. And I've been
Yeah,
there too.
exactly. And we want you to have fun in your business because the more fun you have, the more fun your clients have, the more fun the world has being around you. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm a huge advocate of business should be fun. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
Yes. So they can go to Simplify to Multiply. So simplify, multiply.com. Try not to trip over your fingers while you spell that. And I have a cheat sheet. It's called the Daily Needle Movers Cheat Sheet. So again, it's about keeping your daily focus simple. I think you'll really like that downloadable cheat sheet. And you can there's a message button there. You can chat with me there if you want to reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
I love it. So I get to ask you now, at what point in life did you know that you were a special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Great question. I never planned on it. I was sort of more like, okay, coaching, I worked with a life coach and I'm like, oh, coaching, I could do coaching, like I got, but it makes the most sense. But, as I look back, on like me and think, boy, I've really veered from like the traditional path of like a teacher and, what everybody else in my family and life is doing. And they still scratch their heads like, what's this thing Joy does? When you're 13, hello. It's all right. I think it's when I look back and say, you know what, whenever I had my little, I'm going to do it my way kind of edge, like I've had that theme my whole life. And I think that serves you well as an entrepreneur, and even in raising my daughter and all the advocacy and all the things that she needed and all the doctors that said, you can't do this, she'll never be able to do this. I'm like, I'll show you. So I think sometimes pulling out that little rebel maverick energy, it's a powerful thing. And I think for me, once I realized like, hey, I can own that and that can be a superpower here. I realized like I've got something that's sustainable because, I've got that moxie inside of me. And I don't think everybody does necessarily. I think somewhat you naturally have it, or life brings it to you, life circumstances. It sort of fell in my lap that way of like, okay, this is the next thing for me. It makes the most sense. And, you figure it out as you go oftentimes. And that's okay too.
Thanks. Love it. So in your entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's a blooper reel that happened somewhere along the line. Is there any aspects of your blooper reel that you can share with us that you think are pretty funny?
Oh, where do I start? My blooper reel. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, we really want to hear this. I had a client who was on the phone with me, on the Zoom call with me, and this was like during the pandemic when everybody was home together, and he didn't realize that she was on Zoom on camera. Came out of the bathroom after a shower. You can imagine.
Like, hey, there's not really a lot you can tell me anymore that I'm not familiar with.
Oh my goodness. Like, so that's probably my most embarrassing moment, right? Of like, I can't believe that just happened. Okay, right? So that was a client's blooper or somebody's blooper. I don't know. But we've all had that moment where like you just totally flub it up on camera and like say blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what was I just saying? What did I just say? So we definitely have plenty of those. And, just the funny things sometimes that happen in everyday life of like something that happens. And it's so nice to have a team to share it with. Like I just texted something to my assistant, Priscilla, that we had a good giggle over like, oh, ain't life funny in our world. Right. So I think it's so good to like, just laugh. Right? And like things go completely wrong or the back end of something is just like, whoa. And it's okay. Just laugh and you'll fix it and figure it out.
I love it. You have been awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
Keep it simple. No matter where you're at in your business, like put on those simple glasses and really hold that belief, inform your mind. There's always a simpler way and your mind is going to find it.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time, Joy. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedlock. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow. Thank you for listening to 7 to 8. If you're interested in upping your speaking game, be sure to connect with our guests with the links in the show notes and connect with me to see how we can help you get your tech done for you and help your speaking dreams come true.